If he could teach me or let me drive it around, you know what I'm saying?
Test. Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity for us to hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God.
Man, where your son at with that water?
All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High. However, anything that you do get, whether it be a gift of tongues, a gift of prophecy, or any supernatural experience that you may have,
Thank you, nephew.
it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent, that they might live. All right? Who was here last week? Nobody.
Mel.
Mel was here? He was here last week?
Yeah.
I think so.
No, she wasn't.
Faith took her home.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, because
Hope did come
we had a
week,
visitor last week.
And we met these.
You was here with the visitor?
The visitor?
Yeah, Mel was here.
I know, but I left early
Okay.
because TG Hope was in a rush.
I didn't mean to play you like that, Mel. What we talked about last week?
Come on.
The visitor? You said that before.
What was we talking about?
What were we
Let's
talking
see.
about?
We were talking about coming back to the land.
Coming back to the...
Where we end?
That doesn't ring any bells.
Well, you wouldn't know where we end, right? Because you had to leave.
Right before the son of perdition.
Y'all in the chat, if y'all in there, you know what I'm saying, y'all can drop a, well, I guess comment, I shouldn't say chat. But y'all can leave comments if y'all want, if y'all remember where we left off. Y'all got to be quick, though, because you know I ain't got no darn patience.
Into the land. Back into the land. The new temple's supposed to be built.
There we go, right? We was on our way back into the land. We was in the wilderness, you know what I'm saying? And we was looking at the Ezekiel's temple when we started to take a look at it, right? So if we go back, right, let's recap with a little bit of a timeline. Let me see if I can get myself together here real quick. We got to recap with a little bit of a timeline because it's important that we can kind of understand, you know what I'm saying, the order in which things are expected to play out, at least in my interpretation of what we got going on right here. Can I get this going, please? I don't know why I got my PowerPoint. Let me see here. I'm going to do that. This it. There we go. That's my timeline there. We're gonna put the, you know what I'm saying, just put it on the big screen right here. All right, so that's the timeline that we're dealing with here. Let me see if I can show it to all the people too. You know what I'm saying? Here we go. Excuse me. Let me show it to the people. Oh no, that didn't work out the way I expected it to. What's going on here? All right, we having technical difficulties. Let's figure out what happened. Because y'all can't really see it on the screen. All right, T, well, I'll try to figure this out. You help the people figure out what we're looking at up there for me, please.
So first you got your two witnesses, right? Doing some of the things that Moses and Elijah did in the past. Then you got your plagues on all nations, which is Babylon, right? Plagues in all nations. Then the exodus of Hebrews from all nations, okay? Then you got the Gentiles to help with the exodus in our journey to Israel, okay? Journey through the wilderness, right? Once everybody gets there, they will be judged by the Most High God, and there will be a purge of all wickedness. And then the righteous will enter into Israel while the Gentiles will be building up the city. And the temple starts to get rebuilt.
I don't know what's going on here. All right, so that's our timeline so far of what we've gone over, right? So that's kind of how the order of the events kind of play out. Two witnesses come, that's going to be our prophets, because the Most High God don't do nothing unless he tell it to.
The prophets.
There we go. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing moving until the prophets know about it, right?
I do nothing unless I tell my secrets. What do they say? Tell my servants, the prophets.
That's right. So the prophet going to come first, right? And then when the prophets come, then they're going to help us get out of Babylon, right? The plague going to hit the whole thing. Right, and after that, then we're going to have our quote-unquote exodus from all nations, right? The Gentiles are going to assist us with the journey. The journey is going to be through the wilderness. In the wilderness, we're going to get purged. There's going to be some people that make it, some people don't. Then eventually we get back into the land, and they're going to help us, the Gentiles going to help us build up our walls and rebuild our temple according to Ezekiel's vision, right? So we looked at all that, but then it's like, that feels like a good, nice, friendly story, right? Don't feel like a whole lot of adversity there. Feel, you know what I'm saying? Feel kind of good. But it's like, wait a minute, we got a whole lot more to go, don't we? Because there's a whole lot of stuff that we haven't talked about yet. Like, what's an example of what we haven't talked about yet in Revelations?
We talked about the son of perdition.
We haven't talked about the man of sin. So that's what we want to get into today. We're going to try to understand the man of sin, try to figure out, you know what I'm saying, where is his role in all this and what we need to do. So let's start off with 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let's get right to it. We got a lot to cover. This 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. I read some comments over the last few weeks. They were like, they ain't even talk. You know what I'm saying? They call it Revelation. They ain't even talk about Revelations. Well, that means you don't know Revelations. We ain't stopped talking about Revelations. We ain't even got to go to Revelation. Let me tell you, we ain't stopped talking about Revelation.
Bro, like the prophet books, like talk about all that stuff that's in Revelation.
Everything we said is in Revelation. And we ain't got to read it from Revelations. But once you know the book, you know what the references are. And that's what we want to do, right? We want to understand the references. My baby all sweaty. We want to understand the references. We want to kind of understand how things play out. But sometimes what Revelations is doing is just giving us just a hint to what happened, but you can read more of the story in the prophet. So that's what we've been doing. We've been going back to the prophet. However, this week we're going to spend a lot of time in Revelations because a lot of the detail that we need for the man of sin is actually in Revelations rather than some of the other books. So we're going to spend a lot more time in Revelations. We're going to start off with 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Start me off at about verse 1.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua, and by our gathering together unto him, that you be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters as from us, as that the day of the Messiah is at hand.
Right? Because we look at it, and we looking like every time somebody like, you know what I'm saying, like, oh, it's a vaccine mandate. It's the end of the world, y'all. That's the mark of the beast, 666. Don't take it. You know what I'm saying? If you take it, they can telling all these lies to people until you get nervous. Oh, the Palestinians dropped the bomb on Israel. Uh-oh, it's the end of the world, y'all. This is it. God is coming to take us. Right? But he said, hold on. Don't be moved. As if somebody came, as if they came with a letter from us telling you this or that. What did he say? Keep going.
That you be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit nor by word.
He said, don't be troubled, neither by spirit nor by word. For what reason?
Nor by letters as from us, as that the day of the Messiah is at hand.
Because you mess around and think that the day of the Messiah is at hand. What is the day of the Messiah?
The day of the Lord.
The day of the Lord. That's when a lot of people got to die, right? A lot of people, the part that everybody's scared of, like the end of the world, what we consider the end of the world, it's not really the end of the world, but it's certainly the end of the world as we knew it, right? And that's the part that everybody's like, ooh, because it's judgment time, right? The people going to get split up completely. Those who've done wrong and haven't obeyed according to that manner, they go this way, right? Those who do the right thing and do what they're supposed to do according to that manner, they go this way, right? And that's how it plays out, right? So everybody looking like, you know what I'm saying? When Paul talking to these folks, somebody then told him like, oh man, the end of the world near. And they looking like, oh my goodness. And so Paul had to write to him like, nah, man, calm down. Let me tell you something. Don't get shook now, right? As if I told you something, right? Watch this, keep going.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
He said, let no man deceive you. Whenever we hear that in the book, we supposed to perk up. Hold on. Let no man deceive you. What do I need to make sure I'm not deceived about? Let's hear it.
For that the day shall not come except there come a falling away first. And
the first thing that got to happen, he said, folks got to fall away. What is the state when you ask a Christian what this fall away is, in the Greek it says apostasy. I might be saying that wrong. White folks don't say nothing to me if I am. Right? But I think it's like apostasy or something like that, right? That's what they say it in the Greek. It means a fall away, right? So what do you think this is talking about? A Christian is going to tell you it's talking about, oh, well, you know, people are going to fall away from the faith. It's going to be a great falling away. People are just going to stop believing. And I have a lot of Christians that become atheists. Because that's the only thing for a Christian. It's like atheist. That's the only thing that's evil to a Christian. To a good Christian, the only thing that's really evil to a Christian. If you're a good Christian, you can't really call nothing evil because God loves everybody. Right? So for a good Christian, that's the only thing that's really evil. You know what I'm saying? Is being an atheist. Because that's saying that you don't even believe God. You know what I'm saying? They don't realize that none of them believe in God. You know, they think they do, but none of them really believe in God because they don't do what the man say. Right? So that's what a Christian would tell you about this. What will a Hebrew Israelite tell you about this? The falling away? Oh, he going to tell you that's all the Christians. Right? So now let's look at it in context, right? The context is, this is Paul writing. Paul is alive. What is still around at this time? What country is still around at this time?
Israel.
Israel. And what people are living in Israel at this time? Hebrews, right? So he said, before the end of the world comes, there first has to be a falling away, right? Watch this.
For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
So the first thing that got to happen, there got to be a falling away, right? They don't describe exactly what that falling away is, but we know shortly after this, the people inside of the land Israel, our people, got scattered, right? And we had to go, and we hid and became slaves and all that, and our country became nothing, and our identity later became nothing, right? So I believe that is what the fall away is speaking to. It's talking about our exile, right? Then after that, what else happened?
And that man of sin be revealed.
Then the man of sin has to be revealed. So that's what we want to understand. The man, what verse is that?
3.
That's what we want to understand, the man of sin. Because the man of sin is about to be the topic of what we talk about today. The man of sin is going to cover the rest of Revelations. The man of sin is what's going to take us. We read last week about how we went to our temple and we set it up and it looked good and things look happy. We back in our land. We got the only tree that produced fruit that can heal people. The rest of the world dealing with plagues. They land is tore up. They waters is all tore up and with poisoned. So if you try to fish, what you pulling out of there?
Dead fish.
Dead, nasty, stinky fish. If you eat it, you get sick. You got things that's like, got stingers like scorpions out here poisoning people. They make them so sick that if you get hit with it, you wish you died, but it won't kill you. You just suffer for months. All this stuff is happening to these people, right, around the world. Meanwhile, we journey through the wilderness, make it into Israel. We build up our towns. We got this tree that if you eat from it, it heal you. We got this river that is the only clean water. So any water that this water touch, it heal the water. So if I want good drinking water and I ain't in Israel, where I got to go?
To Israel.
Most of the time I got to go to Israel. Right? So this man of sin is what's going to change our situation from a happy, oh, we finally escaped situation into a, oh, it's time for everybody to get down. Y'all got to give up what y'all got. Right? A lot of people look at it, the end of the world like, oh, this can happen any moment. Paul is telling you right here, no, let me explain to you something. First thing that got to happen is a falling away. And then the man of sin got to come. If you know the book, you're not worried that like, oh, tomorrow. The only thing you might be worried about is, well, eventually the 2 witnesses going to come. And after that, then you're going to see us get taken by plagues. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get taken up out of here. And then after that, we're going to journey through the wilderness. And the Most High God going to deal with us. And then we're going to do that. And then we're going to, if you know the things that have to happen according to prophecy, the only thing you looking at is, well, I'm just watching. It turns away from like, oh, I'm scared. Maybe tomorrow. No, I'm just watching. And I'm living right. And I'm doing what I need to do because you know what? No matter what, any of us can die. Right? So let me pay attention to what the Most High God got. Let me pay attention to what the books say. And let me pay attention to prophecies. And as it all comes together, we walk. This is verse 3, this is verse 4.
Verse 4.
Watch this.
Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he is a God, he as God sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
He sits where?
Sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So now we know that the temple currently is destroyed, right? So if the day, this is how you know what I'm saying, people kind of figure out like, oh, the timeline. No, Ezekiel, listen, I got all types of comments. Ezekiel temple don't come until after the Messiah return and this, that, and the other. It's like, okay. He's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, you teaching that stuff like the Christians be teaching there, or like these, okay, whatever you say, bro. But the beginning of this just told you that the day of the Messiah is not coming yet. And then he telling you what has to come before it. And one of the things he said is the man of sin has to sit in what?
Gotcha.
The temple of God. And if there's no temple, doesn't that mean there's going to have to be a temple for that to happen? Unless you don't believe the book. All the stuff is you just got to know the book. Let's keep going. Watch this.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things. And now you know what withholds that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity does already work.
He said the mystery of iniquity does already work. What is that talking about?
The mystery of sin.
The mystery of sin, right? People are in a position where they sin and they don't even understand what sin is or what causes sin or how they sin or all that good stuff, right? Watch it, keep going.
Only he who now lets will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed.
Right? So then the wicked one is going to be revealed. So in other words, the Most High God is standing in the way of the man of sin from coming out. But as soon as he let him out, then the wicked one is going to be revealed. The man of sin is going to be revealed. So far, the man of sin, according to what Paul is saying, it hasn't been revealed at this point, right? Let's keep going.
Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
So he's talking about the Lord. When he say the Lord here, he's talking about the Messiah, right? So he's telling you the day of the Messiah ain't going to come until the man of sin come. Then the man of sin going to come and he's going to sit in the man's temple. That means that for that to happen, there got to be a temple. Right there, there's no temple, right? But for it to happen, between now and then, a temple got to be built for him to sit in somehow, right? We just don't happen to have a temple in the book that we just went over. So we know the order of how things play out, right? So the temple going to be built, the man of sin going to come and he going to sit in the temple. But then it says the Messiah is going to come and he's going to kill him with the what?
With the brightness of his coming and the spirit of his mouth.
With the brightness of his coming and the spirit of his mouth, he's going to come. That means that is the day of the Messiah. So the man of sin is ended with the day of the Messiah, right? So he kind of lays it out for us here. What verse is that?
8.
Keep going.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
All right. So even him who's working is after the works of Satan, right? Keep that in mind because we're going to touch back on that when we come through, go back to Revelations, right? He comes after the work of Satan. In other words, he comes with the power of Satan, right? Keep going. Watch this.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth that they may be saved. And for this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
This is important.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness.
This is important. Right now, and we were just talking about it before study started, right now, we're dealing with, I mean, it's disgusting how much we're told lies and things are misrepresented to us and how many people believe it, right? Even though stuff doesn't make basic, like it's like obviously a lie, right? Obviously a lie. None of it makes sense, right? But it's presented to us and we've been conditioned to believe some of these things, whether it be the vaccine, right? Like literally you have someone who comes on TV and tell you, no, I shouldn't wear masks. It really won't do anything for you. You know, it just really won't. Just leave it for the medical professionals, because they were low on masks at that time. So he told everybody, no, don't worry about it, right? Then all of a sudden, masks start coming in, heavy. Everybody can get masks now. You know, they come in, everybody, you have to wear a mask. I mean, it's mandated to wear a mask, right? This will help. You know what they said? They said, just slow the curve. That's what they said here. Slow the curve. We just need the numbers to come down just a bit. Wear the mask. Who remembers how long they told you to wear the mask and stay in your house? They shut us down for how long? How long? 2 weeks it started out. How quick did they extend that 2 weeks?
Real quick.
They extended it to a month, didn't they? And we were looking at April. I think it was like April 6th or something. April something. We was like, I can't wait until that so we can get back to normal. I just knew that we wasn't about to be wearing masks and shut down. That's crazy. Do you know they extended that thing again? Right? Then all of a sudden it's like, listen, we just need to get herd immunity. How do you get the herd immunity? The only way to get there is through a vaccine. Meanwhile, they don't know nothing about the vaccine. But they tell us vaccine is very safe. Right? People start taking the vaccine, some adverse reaction. And what they tell us then? We're still learning about the vaccine and its effectiveness and how it's going to go. But hold on, you just told me it was already safe. Well, it's still very safe. It only happens to a very small people. But only a very small amount of people die from COVID too. Percentage-wise, like what we talking about? Right? So the information being presented to us, if you objectively look at it, none of it really makes sense, right? And even if I want to shoot the people some bail, like when you're leading this many people, it's difficult, right? You sometimes feel like I have to think for them. So sometimes I have to lie to them to get them to do things, because it's like your kids, right? Sometimes your kids be like, oh, you know what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to go to bed. So I might tell you, okay, listen. If you go to bed now, 'cause mommy got to work right now, daddy got to work. You know what I'm saying? If you go to bed now, then when you wake up, it's going to be shiny, this, that, and other in your room, right? And you appeal to your kid's imagination, but you have to go to sleep right now, though, because if you don't, it won't work. And some parents will do that, right? They'll tell their kids this complete fantastical lie, right, just to get them to do something. But it's in their mind, it's for their own good, right? Because they're looking at, I need you to go to sleep. Mommy, daddy got to work. And after that, I'm going to go to work in the morning. If I can have a good day at work, I get a higher paycheck, or I can get promoted soon. And then we all good. So at the end of it, it's all for all of our good that your butt go to sleep right now, right? And that's how you justify it. Well, it's the same way when you leading a bunch of people, you think of them as kids. You kind of treat them like kids. When you're a leader, you have to kind of look at the people, your subjects, kind of like you treat your children. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like kids. And so what happens is, if people have that same type of mindset, they do that to us. So that's why they say, well, really, they couldn't communicate. Listen, medical professionals need this mask. We don't have enough masks to go around. If y'all go rushing to get masks out of fear, then it's going to make it to where they don't have enough, and they got to be out here in the trenches really saving people. I can't communicate that clearly to people, because you know what? People going to say, well, shoot, I don't want to die. And if the medical professional needed that bad, then I better get me a mask before they do. And everybody going to be selfish and go get it. I get why they lied. I understand it, right? It makes perfect sense why they lied. But at the same time, you lied. And we believed it. Not me, but people in general believed it. Right?
The royal.
Right. People believed it. And so when you find yourself in that position, it's like, okay, we're believing lies. How many other lies did we believe for our own protection? Oh, no, I ain't even talking about your mama and daddy now. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's a whole other story. Shouldn't be lying to our kids. I use that example, but I just want to make it clear. Ain't no reason to lie to kids for the same reason the leader shouldn't lie to us. It creates mistrust. Whether it's small and insignificant, or you think it's small and insignificant, like, oh yeah, but we tell all our kids about Christmas and Santa Claus and all that stuff and Tooth Fairy. It's no big deal. But then your kid grow up, and all the stuff that you raised them to believe, they be questioning that stuff. They go and meet somebody else and they tell them something different. And guess what? That new person that they meet in school or wherever got a little bit more credibility in their eyes. Because you know what? I didn't call my mama lying. I didn't call my daddy lying. Right? And so it seems small and insignificant, but it's part of the reason why kids rebel. Right? They don't have that consistency, and they find things out there. Not saying that if you tell the truth to your kid about everything, they ain't gonna rebel either, right? It's just how it is. But you have way more credibility with your kid. You tell them the truth all the way through, right? So the strong delusion comes, which means people are gonna believe the lie because they didn't love the truth. And that's where we are right now. We're being set up for that. Because there's so many lies, so much information getting pushed out to us that people are in a place where it's like, I don't care. I just want to go with whatever they say because it's easier, right? I don't want to resist. I don't want to fight. Because it's easier. We keep on down that path. We're in a position where that strong delusion, which I really believe is already operating, is going to put us in a place where, we're going to accept stuff that we not. I don't believe nothing that we seeing now is any mark of the beast or anything like that. However, I believe everything that we're dealing with now is preparing us for it. I believe everything is conditioning people to be like, hey, listen, it's easier for me to do this than to just go over there, right? And that's why people stop believing in God. They don't believe. So as soon as you don't believe in God, you don't believe the Bible. You got so many people that's like, yeah, I'm a Christian, but I don't really believe the Bible is like, it's allegory. Or you got people that like, well, no, I'm religious and I believe in God. I mean, I believe in God, but I'm not religious. I'm spiritual. Well, what does that mean? Well, my faith is not tied to any book or any text that man put together. All right, so you just believe what you want to believe in. So once you get to that space where everybody think they worshiping God, but in reality, they not tied to text that gives you the instruction of who God is. Now, if I tell you something about the mark of the beast, I can write 666 right there. And you'd be like, that book ain't talking about that. It's because I don't believe the book. I can tell you flat out, this is the mark of the beast, 666. And you got to get it because I've gotten so far away from, like the book is so far-fetched to me. It's so in the back of my mind that I don't even realize it's in there. Yeah, I'll take it. Right? That's what the book means. Read it one more time, that last verse. What was it, 11 or 12?
11.
Read 11 for me one more time. Watch
For this cause, God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
Watch this.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness.
When the Most High God is talking to you about believing the truth, he's not talking about whether Dr. Fauci told you to wear a mask or not. Just a hint. When he's talking about believing the truth, he's talking about the book. If you believe this book, it don't matter what's going on in the world. It just doesn't. The strong delusion has no effect on the person who believes the truth of the book. That's why we tie ourselves and anchor ourselves to the book. When he say the truth, he's talking about this book. These people can't confuse you. You know the truth of God's word. It don't matter what these people, vaccine, smack-scene, they don't come, you know what I'm saying? You in Afghanistan, you not in Afghanistan, there's fentanyl flying around, all this stuff dropping there. You know they putting fentanyl in weed?
What is fentanyl?
Oh. So you hear about all these actors, you know what I'm saying, black folks, rappers and all this stuff. Just black folks, really, that's dying early. It's white folks too, though. You know what I'm saying? But you hear about, you know what I'm saying, like the dude that played in, what's his name? The black dude played in, I think he's in A Wire too, but he played in, was it Oz?
I never watched Oz.
You know what I'm saying? The dude with the scar? Michael K. something. Whatever his name is. He just died. Then you got Black Rob, Bad Boys. He just died. DMX, he died. I don't know if DMX was fentanyl though, but it might have been. I know they tried to keep it on the low what he got going on. But all these people that dying, like, and they not all that old, it's fentanyl, right? And what it is heroin, right? Or opioids, opium. And the fentanyl comes from China, I think, and it's a alternative. It's like a synthetic alternative, right? Opioids come from Afghanistan. So if you know enough, you could put everything that's happening in the world and put that thing together. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the news and you know enough of what's going on, you can kind of put it together. Biden say come out of Afghanistan. All of a sudden, the media turn on Biden. Right now, you got Democrats that's not even impressed with Biden. Before they're like, nah, just leave him alone. They cut them back. Now you got people that's not even impressed with him. Why? Because it's like, you didn't follow along with Trump's plan to get out of Afghanistan, and we got something going. What grows in Afghanistan? Something called poppies. Where does opium come from? Or, heroin, essentially.
Ozone.
Poppies.
It comes from poppies, right? And then you had this competing thing that's coming from China, I think, that come from China called fentanyl. Has a similar effect. But people die from it, even with a small dose, right? People die from it, but it gets you just get you high as a kite. But people die from it very easily. So they're sprinkling this stuff in weed, right? So now you got weed, this, and another. And now you got people dropping dead, smoking weed that got fentanyl in it, right? People look at that like, oh, that's the end of the world. I'm just trying to name all the things that people think are like, this is the end of the world. What I'm saying is, when you believe the truth of the book, right? Somebody might pick up some weed and smoke it, right? God forbid, but you might pick up some weed and smoke it. Like, this is a harmless drug, whatever. I just want to take a little edge off of my day, whatever they want to do. But you get your weed from the wrong person, and it got fentanyl on it, and that's the last thing you smoke. That's the last thing you do. Your butt just dropped dead from an overdose, and you don't even know what you're doing. Like, it's sick. It's sick for people to do that. Like, they're sprinkling fentanyl on this stuff. It's sick, right? But that's the reality of where we are. However, if a person believes the truth of the book, are we smoking weed?
Yeah.
The purpose of the book is to guide our steps in a way that the world cannot harm us anywhere where the Most High God doesn't want us to be harmed, right? You got to go out your way. Like, we not going to accidentally die. You know what I'm talking about? We die because that's how it was supposed to happen when you walk in the truth. And you can be confident about it. It's not going to be no situation where we just fell and we got caught doing something we wasn't supposed to do. No. We were doing exactly what we were supposed to do, or on our way to do something we were supposed to do, and whatever happened, happened. You can die with confidence that way, right? That's what believing the truth gets us. That's how we avoid the strong delusion. And the delusion comes, and it's going to come very strong. Because guess who's behind the delusion?
The man of sin.
Revelation chapter 13. This is Revelation chapter 13. Give me verse 1.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Right? So he had 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns he had 10 crowns, and upon his crowns he had blasphemy. Keep going.
And the beast which I saw was like
which he saw
unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Whoa. So he looked like a leopard, and his feet was like what?
The feet of a bear.
So you had a leopard, and you had feet like a bear, and what else?
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
And mouth like a lion, and what else?
And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority.
And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and his authority. Does that sound familiar? Remember, the man of sin gonna come in who? He gonna come after the ways of who? All right, hold we got. Let's go back. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. What it want? Verse 4?
Miracles and lying wonders.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4, I think. Then we're gonna come right back to Revelation. I just want to make sure we can make this connection. The whole book saying the same thing. And remember, when Paul was writing this, he didn't have revelations. You know what I'm talking about? Paul knew this because he knew the scriptures.
who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Uh-huh.
Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things?
Uh-huh.
And you know what withholds that he might be revealed in his time.
Uh-huh.
For the mystery of iniquity does already work. And only he who now lets will let until he be taken out of the way. Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan.
Even him whose coming is after what?
The working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders.
So, working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. Now, let's go back to Revelation chapter 13, and let's see if we can make the connection. What verse was that?
3.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 3.
2.
Verse 2. Watch this.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
So the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and his authority, right? Who do you think this dragon is?
Satan.
The dragon is Satan. So you had this beast that came after the dragon, right? And had all the dragon's power. That way he can do all the wonders of the dragon. Keep going, watch this.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed.
So remember, he had 7 heads, right? And one of his head, it was like that thing was wounded to death. All this stuff is important, right? 7 heads, but one of the 7 was almost like it was wounded to death. Watch this.
And all the world wondered after the beast.
Right? All the world looked at this beast and they wondered after it. Like, ooh, look at this beast. This beast is crazy. Look at this beast. Watch this.
And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to go and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world.
So that means those who are not written in the book, how do you get written in the book?
Obedience to God.
Obedience to the Most High God, right? You obey the Most High God, you get written in the book of the Lamb, right? That's simple, right? So that tells you everybody who is not written in the book is not obedient to the Most High God. And everybody who's not ended up worshiping him. Watch this.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints.
Watch this.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb.
He had 2 horns like a what?
Like a lamb.
Like a lamb. Just before it told us about the book of the Lamb, right? You think this is the same lamb? It's important that we understand the imagery. In chapter 5, we don't have to get it, but in chapter 5 of Revelations, it tells us that you have a lamb that comes and unseals the book, right? Who was that lamb in chapter 5?
The Messiah.
That lamb was the Messiah. Now you have another lamb that's coming. And this lamb, go ahead and let's describe this lamb to us.
He had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he does great wonders, so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
So now this is a lamb that does great wonders or miracles, right? And the lamb is the same way that Yahushua is pictured, who also did what? Miracles. So now, when it talks about the man of sin, this is what it's talking about. You're talking about this second lamb who comes, who causes people to worship Satan. Now, people look at that and they say, oh, it's the devil worshipers. No. You are not even going to know that you're worshiping Satan. Right? In fact, the only way you're going to know that you're not worshiping Satan is if you obey the book. That's why we said at the beginning of this series, we said, listen, the prerequisite. It don't even make no sense to start going down and talking about Revelations if you don't understand a couple things. First of which is you have to understand the basics. You have to understand the milk of the word. You have to understand what it means to sin, what it means to repent, what it means to lay on hands, what it means to be baptized, what it means to have judgment or be judged, and what it means to have eternal, what was it?
Eternal judgment.
What was the other one then? I'm missing one.
Obedience. Faith towards God. Repentance from dead work.
Repentance from dead work, faith towards God. You know what I'm saying? Baptism, laying on the hands.
Eternal judgment.
Eternal judgment.
And resurrection.
Oh, and resurrection. That's the one I'm missing, right? And resurrection. If you don't know those things, then what we're talking about right now is secondary. Because all of this comes down to you got to obey, right? You putting yourself, it's just telling you all the things going to happen for the people who obey and for the people who don't obey, right? And that's how it all lines up. Watch this. Go, keep going. We're gonna go somewhere else real quick, but go finish this out real quick.
And he does great wonders so that he makes fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceives them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had
so now the beast who had a wound by a sword, but he ended up living. It's important. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Grab Revelation 12 real quick. Because we got to talk about this dragon. I kind of told y'all the dragon was Satan, but I want to make sure we can prove that out. It's Revelation chapter 12. You can start me off probably about verse 4.
And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
Oh, no. Sorry. Start me at verse 1. Because we need to know about his tail drawing out. Listen, we about to identify this dragon and this beast. Right? We're about to identify this stuff. I want y'all to pay attention to the little clues that Revelations is giving us, right? Watch this.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun.
Clothed with the sun.
And the moon under her feet.
And the moon under her feet. And what else?
And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars.
And 12 stars, right? So if you know the scripture well enough, we ain't got to get it. But if you wouldn't know the scripture well enough, you go to Genesis, you'll see this is a reflection of a dream that Joseph had in Genesis, okay? This is talking about Israel, right? We know that because of Joseph's dream. Keep going. Watch this.
And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, in pain to be delivered.
So Israel is giving birth. She's giving birth. I'm just to help y'all out. She's giving birth to the Messiah, right? We got plenty of studies where we talk about it. You go find. We can dig into it in detail. I'm just trying to move real quick. So she's giving birth. Israel, the country, is giving birth to the man-child, which is the Messiah. Watch this.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. So
now this is giving us timing, because right now I gave y'all a timeline. And so you might think what we talking about comes after number 7 right now. No. What we talking about right now comes way before 1, right? So the dragon is when the Messiah was about to be born. In other words, when the Messiah was about to be born again, right? The dragon came to stop this from happening. So you remember when Peter was like, when the Messiah was like, yeah, I got to die. You know what I'm saying? I got to die, you know what I'm saying, to fulfill scripture. And Peter was like, God forbid that you die. And what y'all should say back to him?
Get behind me, Satan.
He said, get behind me, Satan. Satan was coming at every angle to try to prevent what was happening. Remember, he had casting out demons, and he was like, don't you say a darn word. Right? Remember when the demons were speaking out of the people? Like, I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? I like to imagine. I say, I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And he had to cast them out before they say his name. Cast them out before they tell folks. Satan was coming at every angle trying to stop him from being killed, which led to him being born again. Right? Watch this.
And there appeared another woman, or another wonder in heaven.
You remember Herod when he was actually born in the flesh? You remember Herod? You know what I'm saying? What did Herod try to do?
Try to kill all of the sons born.
He knew about the prophecy, and he was like, listen, kill all the sons. Yahushua's parents had to make him escape, right? Where did he have to go?
Egypt.
He had to run off to Egypt. They had to hide out in Egypt. All this is Satan trying to stop this thing from happening. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth.
So now you have to say, okay, at some point, this Satan, right, this dragon, drew a third part of the heavens and cast them to the earth. That's talking about angels, right? So angels fell to the earth. Who knows when this happened, right? I'm about to tell y'all exactly when it happened. Watch this. Keep going.
And did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
So now the Romans, after Yahushua died and went up, you know what I'm saying, and was born again, right? After that happened, the Romans chased us out of Israel. And we fled, in real life, we fled to the wilderness. So it's talking about Israel going to the wilderness, right? So let's see here.
Matthew 28.
No. We don't have to get Matthew 28. Let's grab, something caught my brain there. Go back for me a little bit.
And she was brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Keep going.
And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven.
So at this point, when Yahushua went up, Satan was kicked out of heaven. A lot of people think Satan, you know what I'm saying, Satan was kicked out of heaven at the beginning of time with Adam and Eve and all that. No. Satan was in and out of heaven the whole time, right? But when Yahushua went up, that's when Satan was kicked out permanently. You can't come back up here no more, right? Then he was full-time on earth. That's why Yahushua, we don't have to get it, but that's why Yahushua said, woe unto that happening to the earth, because the ruler of this world is coming, right? Because he knew, oh, it's about to be full time from here on out, right? Watch this. Keep going.
And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, and Satan, which deceives the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
Right? So you see now this dragon is Satan. But he's called a dragon, and he has 7 heads, right? It's very important, because we're about to figure out what these 7 heads are, who is Satan and all that, but we just need a little bit of information before we do that. Keep going.
And his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
That's right.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea.
Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Watch this.
For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he has but a short time.
So at this time in history, the book is telling us everything is, how the kids say it, it's turned up. Right? Everything is going now. Right? Because Satan he's full time from here on out, is what they say. He's like, man, woe to, because he coming, and he full of what?
Wrath.
I got that. Right? That's why it's a different world now. Sure, it was always evil in the world, but it's a very different place. Even if you look at like the Romans after Yahushua went up, if you look at the culture of the Romans after that time, it's very nasty and different things that start to happen. But that's not it, right? Grab Daniel chapter 8 real quick. Daniel chapter 8, give me verse 1. I have to read through this real quick.
In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto Daniel. Unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace.
Watch this.
Which is in the province of Elam.
Watch this.
And I saw a vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns.
So you had a ram which had 2 horns. Y'all remember the animals of the heads that we read? Let's see if these are the same animals, right? Remember you had the dragon, right? And it started describing what the dragon looked like, or the beast looked like rather, right? And it described a few different animals when it described this beast. And just let me know if these are the same animals that y'all remember hearing earlier. Watch this. We had a ram.
A ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beasts might stand before him. Neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand. But he did according to his will and became great. And as I was considering, behold, a he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when
The he-goat waxed very great. Watch this.
the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven.
They say this is talking about Alexander the Great and the 4 that came after Alexander the Great, but that's okay. So Alexander the Great, he was a ruler of what empire?
Greece.
Right, the Macedonian Empire, right? Which is, right there in Greece. All right, watch this. Keep going.
And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great, toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground.
It did what?
It cast down some of the hosts and of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them.
What did we just see? What did we just see that?
In Revelation.
In Revelation, didn't we just see that the tail of the dragon, it took a third of the stars and cast them down and stomped on them? This is the same thing. So now this gives us a time period, and this gives us a country. Right? Because we're told here, Alexander the Great and his descendants, not descendants, but his successors, they did this. So that means the Grecians are the Yavanians, Ionians, however you want to pronounce it. They're responsible for this. They're part of this Satan system. All right. So that gives us a time frame of when that happened. This didn't happen at the beginning of time that angels got cast out. But no, angels got cast out at this point in time. Right? After Alexander the Great. We ever heard of Greek mythology? One of the situations that people were dealing with Greek mythology was you got these supernatural beings. And people really thought they saw something. Maybe they saw angels that was cast down and they got stomped on. Right? Maybe they was dealing with something. This is Greece. Keep going. Watch this.
And the host was given to him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground. And it practiced and prospered.
Okay. What verse is that?
12.
12. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 17. We're going to come back to Daniel 8. It's Revelation chapter 17. Give me verse 1. I love this thing, man. Woo! That's when we get to the man of sin. That's when you got to really put it together. There's so much stuff here. We ain't even touching on everything. We'd be here all night for weeks in a row. We can't touch everything, but watch this. It's Revelation chapter 17, verse 1. We still going back to Daniel chapter 8.
And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come here, and I will show unto you the judgment of the great whore that sits upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
So now, just so we understand, what we was talking about all predates anything that we talking about here, right? Anything in our timeline, we talking about backstory now. We talking about the dragon and this dragon. So this dragon that we reading about in Revelations, that dragon for sure, we've been able to identify at least that the dragon pulling the thing, that's Greece. That happened during the time of Greece. When Greece was running the world, Alexander the Great, his successors, that's what this time frame was, right? So that's when things were running through Greece. Okay, great. And I say Greece, but technically it's Macedonia. Ionians is what it really is, and the related people, right? But the Grecian related people is what it's talking about. Okay, good, great. Got that, we're done. All right, then keep reading.
So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast.
Now it's talking about Babylon. So this is fast forwarding us to number 2 on our timeline, right? We're talking about Babylon now. So the beast, we know Satan, that dragon, comes before. We also know that there's a beast that comes from Satan, and then from that beast, there's also a lamb, another beast that looks like a lamb, right? We're going to talk more about them and try to grab timeline from them and identify them as well. But we know the starting point that we have so far is Greece, long time ago. And we know, number 1, the 2 witnesses has not happened yet. So there's a big gap of time. I'm saying right now we're living around the beast, maybe not the lamb, but the beast and the dragon. Right now we're living in these systems, right? And we're going to try to identify them a little more, but just understand this is all a build up to this. This stuff is already happening. A lot of it is already happening, right? But not the pieces that lead to the end of the world yet. It's going to be wars and rumors of wars, right? Most like God said, fear not. Keep going, watch this.
So he carried me away into the spirit, into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon, the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth.
She's riding on top of a beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, right? Keep going, watch this.
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua.
Right.
And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore did you marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns.
Look, the angel about to break it down for us. Tell us about it, angel.
The beast that you saw was and is not.
The beast that you saw was, but is not. It's very important that we understand time frame, right? When this is being written, what's the time? Who's in rule? Rome, right? We connect. You have to connect this to groups of people or empires or countries, right? What the Bible is calling and translated as Greece is really Ionians, right? But what the Bible translates as Greece, we looked at that and said, oh, we can connect that to Greece because according to this prophecy of the ram and the he-goat, we see that this thing is waxing all the way great to heaven and pulls something out of the sky. And we connect that to the dragon that did that. So Greece, we already got one, right? So now when it's talking about this beast, we should look at it the same way, country. So it's saying this beast, let's say country or system, was and is not. What does that mean?
It used to be around, but it's not right now.
So there was a country or system that was around, but currently is not around. So in other words, he's telling, I'm showing you the future. So this thing that you're seeing is not here right now, and it used to be there. That means that, I don't know, maybe this nation
Coming back.
suffered from a wound that was deadly. Didn't we just read about one of the heads looking like it died? Keep going, watch this.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is, and here is the mind which has wisdom.
When it says was and is not and yet is another way of saying he was in the past, he's not here currently, and he will be in the future. Yet is. In other words, he's not here yet. You know what I'm saying? So will be in the future. Keep going.
And here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits.
The 7 heads represent seven mountains, right? Keep going. That's nations, is what it's talking about.
And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen and 1 is.
All right? So there's 7 kingdoms, right? Or empires, right? 5 of those empires have fallen, and what?
And 1 is.
What does that tell you? 5 empires have fallen, and 1 of them currently is. How many of it all together?
6. And the other.
How many he said?
7.
He said there were 7. Sorry. Right? Then he gives you information on 6 of those 7. He said, well, 5 of them already happened. They've already fallen. He said, and 1 of them is currently going. Which one is currently going right now?
Rome.
Rome at this time is currently rocking. 5 of these things have already fallen. Right? That leaves 1 that yet is. That he didn't tell us anything about. And today we won't try to guess about that 1 is. Is it America? Right? Is it this? Is it the Ottoman Empire? Is it that? We're not about to guess. I don't play them games. I can only tell you what the books say. I can tell you 1 is Greece because the books say 1 is Greece. Right? I can't tell you about the other ones, but we're going to count all the nations right now, right? Because this is something that we can do, right? We have enough information in the book to at least count the nations because there's exactly 7 nations that we've dealt with in the book that would be easy for us to go over. So let's talk about these nations. The first nation relative to Israel when it comes to our captivity was who?
Egypt.
That's 1. The second nation in terms of our captivity was who?
Assyria.
Assyria, that's 2. Third nation in terms of our captivity was who?
Babylon.
Babylon. That's 3. The fourth nation when it comes to our captivity was who?
Persia. Right?
Medes and the Persians. The book always treated them as kind of a joint nation, right? The 5th is who?
Greece.
The Grecians. That happened in between the Old Testament and the New Testament. There's some books called the Maccabees, which talks about that captivity, right? After Greece was who? Rome. And then lastly, you got question marks. You got theories, but no matter how you look at it, you can try to figure it out. But it's about captivity. So you can look at it and say, well, America, we're captive. True. We're also captive in Africa.
In Spain.
Spain, but Spain would fall under the Roman Empire. All right? Africa would be outside the Roman Empire. Could be the Ottoman Empire. Right? Both nations did have us captive. So we'll have to see what the Most High God is referring to with this beast. Keep going.
And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen and 1 is.
So these are the 5 that are fallen according to, at this time period. Egypt fell, Assyrians fell, Babylonians fell, Medes and Persians fell, Grecians fell. Rome is. He's like, so 1 is. So that's the 1 that is, and there's 1 more to go, right? Keep going.
And the other is not yet come. Mm-hmm. And when he comes, he must continue a short space.
Mm-hmm.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th.
Right? So the beast that was and is not, even he is the what?
8th.
So we have 7. We don't know who number 7 is. But now it's telling us there's going to be an 8th one. And the 8th one is really not an 8th one, but it's one of these 7. Because he what?
Was.
And what?
And is, yet is.
So one of these that used to be is going to end up coming back after this mystery 7th. So let's say you have the Ottoman Empire here, or America. That means one of these is going to pop up after that, right? Just trying to let us know that we got something still coming, right? All right, let's see. Keep going.
And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goes into perdition. And the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings.
All right, Daniel chapter 8, what verse we leave off on?
12.
All right, let's pay attention to this vision. Daniel's going to continue the vision. We're going to try to figure out who is this beast that was. We can figure, listen, I can't tell you about this future beast that ain't never been around. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? This future head, rather, the future head of the beast that ain't never been around. I ain't about to even try to guess about what it is. The Americas, the Ottoman Empire, maybe it's something that we ain't experienced yet. Who knows? But what I can tell you is what's documented in the book. The book tell you one of these heads that was, oh man, it's coming back. It's coming back. This is Daniel chapter 8. What verse?
12.
This is Daniel chapter 8, verse 12. Watch this.
And a host was given him against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression. And it cast down the truth to the ground. And it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days.
Keep going.
Then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. And it came to pass, when I, even I, Daniel, had seen the vision, and sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Uli, and which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision.
Make this man understand what he just saw. Watch this.
So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid, and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision.
At the time of the end shall be what you just saw. Right? He's not talking to that whole vision. There's a specific part that he's talking about of what he just saw. And he'll explain that. Watch this.
Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground, but he touched me and set me upright.
Watch this.
And he said, behold, I will make you know what shall be in the last end of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be.
The end shall be. All this is about the end, right? He's going to tell you a whole lot of history, a whole lot of stuff that already happened in his time and certainly already happened in our time. But all of it is really talking about the end. Watch this.
The ram which you saw having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia.
Already happened.
And the rough goat is the king of Grecia.
Already happened.
And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
That already happened too.
And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
There's going to be a king of fierce. So just rewind that for me just a bit. Read that one more time.
And in the latter time of their kingdom.
In the latter time of their kingdom.
When the transgressions are come to the full.
When the transgressions are come to the full.
A king of fierce.
Hold on. When we started this, we talked about the transgressions coming to a full of what people?
Gentile.
The Gentiles. We said all this is going to be kicked off by the Gentiles' transgression coming to a full, right? So he said at the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressions are come to the full, right? what's going to happen?
A king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
These Gentiles got a lot more sinning to do. I ain't going to say a lot. They got more sinning to do, right? When their sin comes to a full, a king is going to stand up. And he's going to do what?
A fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up.
He's going to understand dark judgments. He's going to understand things that a lot of people can't understand in the book. He's going to understand prophecy. Right? Watch this.
And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power.
He said his power is going to be mighty, but it says not by his own power. When we talked about the man of sin, where did the man of sin get his power?
The dragon.
From Satan, according to Paul, right? And then we talked about how the beast and the lamb with two horns, right, that came from the beast, they both got their power from the dragon. So he's going to be mighty, but not by his own power. Keep going.
And he shall destroy wonderfully and shall prosper and practice and shall practice and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people.
And what country is he coming from again? According to the translation?
Greece.
Greece. Greece is where this king shall come from. Keep going. Watch this.
And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
By peace, he's going to end up destroying many. Watch this.
He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand.
He shall stand up against who?
The prince of princes.
The ruler of rulers is what that means. And he shall be broken without what?
Without hand.
So then, when Paul was telling us in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, he said, the man of sin, let's just grab it real quick just to make sure we reading the right thing. So we know that this guy, he going to stand up against the ruler of rulers, and he going to be broken without using a hand. Ain't nobody going to use a hand on him. Right? Let's see how Yahushua going to kill the man of sin. You got to help me find it. I don't know which, it might have been like verse 3. In 2 Corinthians chapter 2, maybe verse 3.
Thessalonians?
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 2 or 3.
3.
All right, it's 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Watch what the book say.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed,
Watch
the
this.
son of perdition,
Watch this. Keep going.
who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sits in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and you know that what withhold that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity does already work. Only he who now lets will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
With what?
The spirit of his mouth.
With his hand.
The spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Oh, so you mean to tell me Yahushua going to get him without using his hands? The book trying to tell you who it's talking about. The man of sin is coming from Greece. And that's going to be at the latter time. And not just the latter time, but just like the angel said, what you just saw was a vision at the end. So somehow, Greece, which is already fallen, in the prophecy about the nation of Greece, is saying that there's going to be a king that spurs out in the latter time of the kingdom, which means there's going to be another kingdom that comes back. Greece is also the 8th. I don't say that because I'm just, you know what I'm saying. Who's going to predict that? Who would look and be like, oh, Greece, you don't know nothing about Greece. You don't see Greece in the news, and you're not going to see Greece in the news. And it's very important that we don't think Greece as the country as we know it now. Because the book is not talking about Greece, it's talking about Ionians or Yavan, right? Which is more than just the country of Greece as we know it, right? This is a group of people. I can't tell you who it's going to be. I can't tell you what they're going to look like. I can't tell you none of that. Only thing I can tell you is it's going to be Ionians. Whatever that means, right? But it's going to reveal itself. And when it happens, we're going to be able to be like, oh, God was right again. Okay, let's hold that. Let's go to Revelation chapter 16. Give me verse 1.
And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth. And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
So now, we don't have it up no more, but now this is back to number 2, Babylon, right? So remember, we just read a prophecy in Revelations about Babylon sitting on top of the beast, right? So these are the plagues. As we start to leave Babylon, these are the plagues that are going to be hidden Babylon. And Babylon is going to be everything, all nations, right? So watch it, keep going.
And the second angel poured out his vial upon the sea, and it became as blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the water say, you are righteous, O Lord, which are and was and shall be, because you have judged thus.
All right, so you see the waters all toe up, people dying. Keep on going, watch this.
For they have shed the blood of the saints and prophets, and you have given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are your judgments. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
So the sun got super hot. Keep going.
And men were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which has power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory.
So it made the people mad. They knew God was doing it, right? But it made people mad that God kept doing this stuff. Watch this. Keep going.
And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom
Upon the what?
On the seat of the beast.
The seat of the beast. Y'all remember what we talked about for the seat of the beast? That's in what we call now Turkey. Right? Turkey is right next to what country?
Greece.
Greece. We ain't got to put it on the map, but it's right next to it. Look it up yourself. Right? All these are the same people. Right? All of these are the same people. I know we look at them now as different people. These are all the same people. Right? Keep going. Watch this.
And his kingdom was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, and the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And I saw the unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth into the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them to the battle that
gather them what?
Gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
That is the purpose of all this. You have read it one more time for me.
For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world to gather them.
Go back one more verse.
And I saw the unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the
So
beast.
now, unclean spirits, they like frogs just jumping out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of what?
The beast.
The beast.
And out of the mouth of the false prophet.
Which is the lamb. Which is the man of sin. Right? Keep going.
For they are the spirits of devils working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and the whole world to gather them to the battle that great day of God Almighty.
So at this point, they're already starting to gather people and get people ready to battle against us. At this point, we're also leaving Babylon and making our way back to our land. Right? All these plagues are hitting the earth, ruining the water, we just read it, ruining the sun, ruining everything. Everybody getting sick, everybody dying, right? And the one place on earth that's just clean and pristine Israel. And we just building up our stuff. Oh, and we used to be slaves of these people. That's why the book, when it say, you know what I'm saying, be aware, you know what I'm talking about? If you took people into captivity, you going to go into captivity. This is what it's talking about. The whole book. The book don't even make sense unless you know who we are. We good there. Grab, real quick, grab Revelation chapter 22, verse 1. Because I just want y'all, I want y'all to understand the damage that was done to the earth. And I want y'all to see what we had in our land. This is Revelation chapter 22, verse 1.
And he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of God and of the Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
In the midst of the street of it, and of either side of the river, was there a tree, the tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month.
Mm-hmm.
And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations.
It is the healing of Israel.
Of the nations.
What's another word for nations?
Countries. Kingdoms.
Gentiles.
Yeah.
The reason for this fruit was to heal the Gentiles because of all these plagues. Right? But this is at the end of Revelations after all this stuff didn't happen. This is when everything peaceful and everybody tamed, right? Let's get Ezekiel. Ezekiel going to tell us before everything is tamed. This is Ezekiel chapter 47. This is verse 1. All right? Revelation chapter 22, that's after Yahushua already came back. You know what I'm saying? We already good after that.
Yeah, Ezekiel's talking, though. I think he's the only one to talk about after. I think that was when God was like, he's going to release him out of his prison.
Yeah, we talking about Gog and Magog?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But this part, he talking about before. This is Ezekiel chapter 47, verse 1. Watch this.
Afterward, he brought me again unto the door of the house, and behold, waters issued out from under the threshold of the house eastward. For the forefront of the house stood toward the east, and the waters came down from the right side of the house at the south side of the altar.
Mm-hmm.
Then brought he me out of the way of the gate northward, and led me about the way without unto the utter gate by the way that looked eastward.
Mm-hmm.
And behold, there ran out waters on the right side. And when the man that had the line in his hand went forth eastward, he measured 1,000 cubits, and he brought me through the waters. The waters were to the ankles.
All right, so the water got deeper as he walked. Watch this.
Again, he measured 1,000 and brought me through the waters, and the waters were to the knees.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he measured 1,000 and brought me through. The waters were to the loins. After it, he measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not pass over, for the waters were risen, waters to swim in, a river that could not be passed over. And he said unto me, Son of man, have you seen this? Then he brought me and caused me to return to the brink of the river.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I had returned, behold, at the bank of the river were very many trees on one side and the other.
Watch this.
Then he said unto me, these waters issue out toward the east country and go down into the desert and go into the sea, which being brought forth into the sea, the water shall be healed.
So now all this water that's messed up in the world, it's saying, listen, this river shoots out and it goes into the desert and it flows all the way through and it hits the sea. We got the plagues that didn't turn the water to blood and poison the fish and all types of stuff that hit. And he said, when it touched that water, it's going to be healed. So this is good water, he's saying. This is the people got to come all the way over just to get some good fish. Watch this, though. Keep going.
And it shall come to pass that everything that lives, which moves, whatsoever the river shall come, shall live.
Mm-hmm.
Wheresoever the river shall come, shall live. And there shall be a very great multitude of fish, because these waters shall come here.
So all the fish is coming right here. So it hit the ocean, right? And as soon as that spot where it hit the ocean, that's where all the fish is. So everybody's going to have to crowd around this in one area and try to get all the fish. Keep going. Watch this.
And everything shall live where the river comes.
Mm-hmm. So you got barren desert land, but where the river hit, just stuff to start growing around it, right? Watch this. Keep going.
It shall come to pass that the fishers shall stand upon it from En-Gedi even unto En-Eglaim. They shall be a place to spread forth nets. Their fish shall be according to their kinds, and the fish of the great sea exceedingly many. But the miry places thereof and the marishes thereof shall not be healed. They shall be given to salt. And by the river upon the bank thereof on this side and on that side shall grow all trees for meat.
Watch
whose
this.
leaf shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed.
Right? So it's no matter, it's all you can eat fruit. All you can eat fruit. And what does this fruit do?
It shall bring forth new fruit according to his months, because their waters they issued out of the sanctuary. Because of their waters they issued out from the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine.
The leaf thereof for what?
Medicine.
So now all these people that are getting sick from all these plagues, we got the medicine. All this stuff is in our land, right? Rest of the world going through all types of trouble. Then you also got the evil spirits coming out the dragon and the beast and the false prophet's mouth, and the false prophet being the lamb, right? The evil lamb, right? So it's all the evil spirits coming out their mouth, and they rallying everybody up to go against us. Keep going.
Thus says the Lord God, this shall be the border whereby you shall inherit the land according to the 12 tribes of Israel.
You good. We ain't got to go that far. Next week, we gonna finish up, right? And we're going to look at all of the acts that come as a result of the evil spirits that jump in and out of the mouth of the beast, of the dragon, and of the false prophet, right? But you see the motivation now. You kind of ask, like, what is the Battle of Armageddon? What is that? What is that all about? Why would people want to fight against God? Well, in their mind, they're not fighting against God. In their mind, they're running the same game plan that they're playing now. If it's resources in Africa, what China gonna do?
Go get it.
They're gonna go over there and take it off. If poppies are being grown in Afghanistan and that's what we need, if it's oil in Iraq and that's what we need, what's gonna happen?
They're going to go get it.
There's gonna be something happening over there that we need to be there for. And while we're there, we might as well take some of this oil. Might as well protect these poppy fields so it gets sold. Right? It's no different. It's always about resources. So when everybody is sick with something that don't got a cure, right? When your baby's sick, when the president's baby's sick, when this ruler's baby is sick, right? When we can't eat because we got to travel all the way over there to get fish in the whole world. First of all, the world has been depopulated because a lot of people died. But now the whole world got to get all the way over there just to get fish. We used to fishing in our backyard, but now my water ain't no good. It's poisonous. And then I see this one land got everything it needs, and it's populated and led by the people that used to be the bottom of every country that they lived in. You think I'm about to let y'all just sit over there and enjoy that? No. Those evil spirits going to be in these people's ears, and eventually it's going to be what's called the Battle of Armageddon, where all nations, representatives of all nations going to come, and they're going to try to fight with us. And the Most High God going to take them down without using a hand. Any questions?
No.
What?